it's Katie. Welcome back to Steal the Spotlight. Today I have another fashion favorites, style inspo sort of video. I filmed one of these a few months ago and honestly it's like one of my favorite videos I've ever done. It's so much fun to just sit down and talk to you guys about stuff I've been into lately, and surprisingly enough I seem to get a really good response from it, so I thought I'd film another one. If you haven't seen the first one though, I will link it up here because I 100% stand by everything I mentioned in that video. Still loving all that stuff as well, but I have a few new things to share today too. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that in my last video I mentioned op shopping first, so I'm kind of cheating because this is really similar, but I'm stepping it up a notch and saying vintage shopping. And we don't have a ton of vintage stores here where I live. Don't get me wrong, I love the ones we do have, but I feel like they don't really date back any further than the 90s. So you are getting a lot of like grungy looks, graphic tees, overalls, which is awesome. But recently when I went to Sydney, I went into this vintage store called Recycology. I believe that was the name. I'll have it listed in the description box along with everything else though. And oh my goodness, I was like a kid in a candy store. This place was incredible. The clothing in the store had been sourced from all around the world and dated as far back as the 1930s, which was absolutely mind-blowing to me, and they were all still in such great condition. Obviously when you go to these sorts of places they are a little bit more pricey, so I'm not saying go in there and buy the whole store because trust me, you will be bankrupt. But just go in and have a wander around, really take it all in. There's so many different colors and textures and really fun styles to be inspired by. And honestly, when you go to those sorts of stores, usually the owner or the person working there just loves fashion and will be up for a chat. So trust me, you will leave feeling inspired. Personally, I did actually pick up one item, so I thought I would include that as one of my fashion favorites. It is this incredible pair of flare pants from the 1970s. You guys know how much I love the 60s and 70s vibe, so I could not leave these behind. They fit perfectly. I love the baby blue color, and they were only $48, which I thought was pretty good for vintage because realistically you would pay that for a fast fashion item like at Zara or something, so $48 for legit vintage is pretty good in my books. Since we're already talking about taking inspiration from previous decades, I really wanted to feature this book that I just stumbled across at some local markets. It's called 100 Years of Fashion, and usually when I see fashion history books, I'm not too interested. They're usually kind of one-dimensional and only come from one side of the industry, if you know what I mean. But I feel like this one really covers a lot of different aspects. Obviously, Audrey Hepburn is on the front cover, so they do cover pop culture and celebrities in fashion, but they do delve a little bit deeper. They have some really great quotes from influential people in fashion. They have some old advertisements, which I don't know why, but I always find those so fun to look at. They have a ton of street style images from when fashion was really breaking down the barriers and changing it up. They have some fashion illustration pictures in there as well, and there's some gorgeous photographs of designer pieces from the last century. Like I said, I did pick mine up from the markets, but if I can find it anywhere online, I'll be sure to link it for you guys, because if you're into fashion and cool coffee table sort of books, I 100% recommend this book. Next up, I really want to talk about some of my personal favorites from the Resort collection thus far. Still kind of ongoing as I'm filming this video, but I feel like this is often the forgotten collection that not many people talk about, but I saw some looks that really stood out to me and I think are worth a mention. The first one is Erdem. He took a lot of inspiration from his trip to Japan over the holidays, and you can totally see that through the fabrics that he's used. There's a lot of oriental florals, but I felt like he really put a fresh twist on it because a lot of the styles to me also had a really Victorian vibe to it, which we know has been a really big trend recently. Another collection I loved was Roberto Cavalli. I just felt like his looks really embodied what resort wear should be. They were totally carefree and colourful. It was the sort of thing that when I looked at the images, I wanted to be wearing those clothes and I wanted to be on holiday somewhere. For me, the element that really drew me in was his outerwear pieces. I felt like they brought structure to an otherwise very flowy collection, and I don't know, they were just really interesting pieces. Great use of pattern and color once again. I feel like whenever I'm talking about designers, I always somehow end up mentioning Fendi, but Carl has done it again. I love the Resort collection. Opposed to the previous one I mentioned where there were a lot of flowy elements, this was more chic and structured, but the particular element that really drew me in were the first few looks that were all red and white. These are freaking incredible, definitely worth taking a look. And of course, this morning I woke up to the Gucci collection just before I started filming this video, so I had to quickly mention it. I haven't had a whole heap of time to look at any articles on it yet, but I scrolled through the whole collection, which I think is like over 90 looks, and oh my goodness, I was blown away. Absolutely love it, but I'd love to hear from you guys on what you think of the Resort collection so far and which ones you've been loving. As I mentioned in my previous video, if you're wondering where I see all of these designer collections, check out Vogue Runway. In my opinion, that is the best place to see them all in one spot. So not gonna lie, I haven't been watching a ton of videos this month or found any new YouTubers to share with you guys. I've just been more busy than usual and traveling a little bit as well, so kind of behind in my YouTube watching. However, I do always have time for Instagram, so I thought I'd share with you some of my favorite accounts lately. The first one being Lily Rose Depp. I'm sure most of you already know who she is, but if you aren't following her on Insta, definitely recommend. I just think that she is so stunning. I love her style. Definitely looks like she takes a lot of inspiration from her mum, Vanessa, back in the day. She also recently announced she's going to be the face of the new Chanel perfume, which I cannot wait for the campaign because I know it'll just be like angelic and magical. It's gonna be phenomenal, so keep your eyes posted for that. An Australian blogger that I've been following on Instagram for quite a while now and low-key have kind of a girl crush on her is Brooke Estoni. She is fabulous. I absolutely love her outfit posts, particularly one that she wore to Sydney Fashion Week recently. It was a star print jumper and star print flares. I am absolutely obsessed and I'm currently looking for star print everything after I saw that image. Some of you might know the Australian boutique called Verge Girl. They have their own Instagram account for their boutique, but then they also have a separate account called Verge Girl Inspo, which I think they only recently started up because it doesn't have many followers, but 100% recommend checking it out. They just have pictures of like celebrities, street style. They have a ton of outfits styling like slip dresses and all like the silky satin sort of looks. So if you guys are into that, 100% recommend that one. Sarah Snyder is a model who is awesome to follow. You guys may have heard of her because I believe she's dating Jaden Smith at the moment, but regardless, she is awesome. I absolutely love her outfit posts. She does quite a few, and again with like the vintage sort of vibe, which obviously I'm in love with at the moment. And the last Instagram account I have for you is Cybelle. I think that's how you pronounce her name. The reason I started following her was because I saw one of her posts on the Messy Heads blog website sort of thing, styling some really cool vintage dresses for prom, and I thought they were absolutely gorgeous, so I decided to check out her personal Instagram, and I definitely think it is worth a follow. Her vintage prom dresses actually inspired me. I went out and thrifted this amazing one. It definitely has like a sultry 90s vibe to it. Totally feel like I've come out of a 90s teen movie when I'm wearing it, but I am in love. I'll definitely be styling it in an upcoming video of like nighttime looks, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Alrighty, I think that sums us up for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this more chatty, chill style video. I absolutely love filming it, so give me a thumbs up if you did. And of course, as I mentioned, I'd love to hear from you in the comments on some of your fashion favorites or style inspirations so I can check them out too. So hopefully I can talk to you there. Otherwise, I might see you over on my Instagram at StealTheSpotlight. Thanks for watching, guys. Mwah!